Hey everybody, I'm Hob.
I'm Jamie.
And you're watching Dutch and Dragons.
Woo!
This is the 12th week of 12 Weeks of Adventures. And without further ado...
Aha! On the 12th week of adventuring, my DM gave to me 12 barbarians raging, 11 bards a piping, 10 monks a leaping, 9 clerics casting, 8 rogues a thieving, 7 sorcerers conjuring, 6 fighters tanking, 5 shiny paladins, 4 warlocks pacting, 3 rangers tracking, 2 wizards learning, and a druid trying to talk to the trees.
So today's episode is all about the barbarian character class. So, without further ado...
Ooh, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. What is the best buddy comedy pairing with the barbarian?
I think we've kind of covered this.
Yeah, like we've had the poor barbarians been paired with everybody.
Yeah, well, it comes up in a few different cases, but I'm gonna go with a gnome paladin.
Oh, gnome paladin's good.
Giant barbarian, gnome paladin, great comedic value right there.
I was gonna go with oh no, I forgot. Crap, wizard. Probably like a dwarf wizard. That would be fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can get behind that.
All right. How do you help your player be successful with this class? Ooh, that's a good question.
It is a good question.
I love this class because of how... No, I don't want to say the word easy because it's not. I mean, like, every class has its own complexities. But it's a really good one. The concept is really easy for new players to pick up. So you hold the axe and you smash it.
There's, I like I think for a player to really be successful with the class, they have to, you want to help them find, not just the voice of the character, but the voice of the tribe from which the character originates.
Oh, that's good.
And because when you think of barbarians, what generally comes to mind is like this lone kind of not necessarily smart individual who survives kind of on just raw talent and power and rage.
I feel like we can't talk about this question unless we talk about like this. One of the questions in here is what's the biggest misconception of the class? Which
this goes back to that, and this does tie directly into that biggest misconception. So I don't think we can talk
about one of these without the other. So we'll go do them together.
So the large misconception is that barbarians are stupid.
Yeah.
And I challenge that concept at every turn. I don't think that a barbarian by any stretch of the imagination should ever be stupid.
Yeah.
Now, they may not be educated in the ways of city folk and whatnot. And fine courts, but that doesn't make them stupid individuals.
You would never say that Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones was stupid.
Right.
No, he wasn't. But to some people, he would be considered a barbarian.
That's right. Yeah, actually, he is a barbarian. He's a barbarian king.
Yep.
And that none of the calls could be considered stupid.
And I feel like that's a big problem, like you said, a misconception, and especially with making a successful barbarian, is you get people who just go, "Oh well, barbar smash."
Yeah, and I think that
Hulk smash.
Finding the voice of the character's tribe will help inform the player on the character's way of thinking, which is going to make them more successful playing the character.
Absolutely.
All the way around.
Yeah, and you'll have a much more richer role-playing experience if you can break your player out of that thought process of, well, I'm just the big dumb muscle.
Right. Because, I mean, Conan, the barbarian, not big dumb muscle. I mean, lots of big dumb muscles,
Barbarella.
but not a big dumb, not the big dumb muscle. Barbarella, which if you've never seen it, give it a watch. It if nothing else, it may entertain. It may offend as well. Just fair warning.
Yeah.
But decent.
What is your favorite house rule for this class?
Did we have house rules for this class?
I'm trying to think.
I don't think that we did.
I don't think so, but we had a long-standing campaign with our Barbarian, and it was a wonderful chance for us in the campaigns that were in the same world that followed it to have legendary items from the Barbarian.
That's true.
Which was really kind of a fun and interesting thing to put into the game. But I don't think we have any house rules for the Barbarian, because I haven't run into an area that I just went, wow, the Barbarian's super lacking here.
Yeah, I think the Barbarian with the different subclasses and the breadth of what is accounted for in the character class actually covers
a good deal.
It's well balanced, in my opinion. It's one of the better balanced character classes.
Absolutely, I agree.
So there you go.
What player persona would get the most out of this class? This class is one of the great things about it. It is a very versatile class. I've seen very serious barbarians and funny barbarians, and
yeah, there's a great deal of room for almost any player to take some enjoyment from this character class. I think the people that would find the most enjoyment are people who very much like to be in the thick of whatever's happening, and maybe even people who want to challenge those kind of socialite norms. If you're in a heavy role play kind of political campaign, a barbarian could be a very interesting kind of counterpoint to all of that.
Right. It's like, why don't we just kill him? This is what we do in the tribe.
Yeah.
Something very, very cut and dry about, like, boom, you're out, dude.
Yeah.
Been voted off the island. One of the things I like about the Barbarian, we had a player, and I'm sure we've mentioned it before, and she was always playing squishy characters, glass cannons, but she liked to run in, and I was like, why have you never played a Barbarian before? Like, this is what they're for. They run in, they smash the stuff. And her problem was that she likes to play ethereal characters, and I was like, why can't your Barbarian be ethereal?
Or feminine.
No, it was more like ethereal than feminine. But that was very much her sticking point.
Yeah, whatever.
But so I did a pre-made character for her, and she didn't actually know what the character was at the beginning, which is a fun thing to do to your players. But as the campaign went on and she discovered that she was a barbarian and that was her background, she actually really liked the character. So a big part of it is, again, challenging the misconceptions of a class that you think one of your players will really enjoy.
Yeah.
But definitely she was the person who wanted to run in and start fights.
Oh, yeah.
And she was always doing that with, like, her mages and sorcerers, and they would just die horribly.
She's our button pusher.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to poke it to see what it does, for no other reason than to poke it and see what it does.
So for that person, you put a lot of buttons in your...
Yep.
What kind of baddie is good to challenge this class? Range. Anything with range DPS is always fun.
Ranged spellcasters, that target things that are not Constitution, or Strength, opposing tribes or their own tribe if maybe they're an outcast from their clan.
Yep.
There's a lot of depth and breadth that you can reach for with the Barbarian, and I think that if you put just a little effort into the backstory, you'll come up with a great deal of story content that will provide you with plenty of baddies to stick in front of your Barbarian.
What game elements might you include for this one? See, then we just roll right into it.
Roll right into it. So I think if I were going to include game elements, depending on their background, their tribe is suffering some plague or some kind of trouble. They have to go home. They're being called home for an arranged marriage.
Oh, that was fun.
There's so much depth and breadth to the idea of the barbarian tribe and the rituals and cultures that are associated with it. any elements that address that or challenge that are going to add a great deal of character to your story.
The old chief died, and your best friend, brother, uncle, niece, nephew is trying to take over the tribe, and they need your help. Like, their claim to the tribe is in trouble. There's all sorts of
your
cool
claim
stuff.
to the tribe is in trouble.
Or your claim to the tribe is in trouble. There are a lot of reasons. A lot of things you can put in there. If they're an outcast, why?
Yeah. The why of them being an outcast, what caused them to be an outcast,
rivaling barbarian tribes.
Yeah, rival barbarian tribes. Your tribe has been wrongfully accused of raiding local villages.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, like, really, we could spend all day going through different ideas for barbarians. Well, yeah. and ways to challenge them. I mean, you could put them. You could even pit them against, like, gladiatorial competitions.
They got thrown in the gladiator ring.
We've done stuff like that too, where you know, the gladiatorial arena is where the barbarian thrives, and that presents its own set of politics and challenges too.
Oh yeah, that gets interesting. What challenges can this class bring to the table?
Depends on the player.
Depends on the player.
Like with everything.
The kind of trouble, like the kind of person that this class sometimes gets that is kind of hard to navigate is the one who's using the excuse of the barbarian to kind of bully the party.
And or to be intentionally stupid.
Or intentionally antagonistic.
And intentionally antagonistic, not just to the party, but to the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And again, with the excuse of, well, that's what my character would do.
Yeah, but they really are just trying to bully the other players, and that's never okay. So I always watch out for that barbarian player.
Absolutely. I can't think of any other specific challenges that we've faced in terms of play style. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the barbarian character class is fairly well rounded, and like Jamie says, some of the players that will gravitate towards the barbarian will gravitate towards other characters character classes that have the same potential for bullying. They'll gravitate towards paladins that are awful in their behavior. And so those are really the personality of the individual is going to dictate a lot of the challenges.
When you're trying to be diplomatic and the barbarian, now all of a sudden we started like waving.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
And the barbarian's trying to start a fight.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to, it's clearly a diplomatic situation, but they're using it as an excuse to just try to turn any campaign into a murder hobo campaign.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so those can be challenges that you can face when you run into those, but hopefully you won't. Are there subclasses that we try to avoid with this class, and why?
No. So far, no.
Yeah, so far, no. Nothing that like, oh, this is just a terribly well-done subclass. I think all the subclasses, like you said, are pretty well-rounded. And actually, we're, like, done with the barbarian. I'm out of questions. Well, so, final thoughts on the barbarian?
I think that the barbarian is an excellent character class. It has a lot of depth and complexity that can actually that's really easy to address for a new player. So I think it's another one of those classes that makes a really good starting point for a newer player, because the complexity starts out very small and then it builds over time. And I think that any time you take the time to understand the barbarian's background and that you help your player understand the barbarian's background, they're going to have a lot more success.
Yep. So that's it for this episode. We're going to be probably taking a break.
We are. This is going to be the last episode for a little while.
Yeah.
We're 42 episodes in. We almost got one every single week this year, and we kind of need a bit of a break.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a hiatus, and we will be back later next year.
Maybe.
If you like what we're doing, if you have any comments, questions, anything you'd like to see, please put them in the comments below, because we will still read them, and we may address them in future episodes. If you like what we're doing, click the like and subscribe button, and you'll get a notification if you click the little bell for when we do post new videos. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.
And have fun storming the castle.